it's an issue of cash.
Just go and add more cash. And so they told us, you see, the original agreement, we would have paid you 20 in installment. That 20, take extra 10, give it to him.
Used to settle the boy.
Just settle the boy. When we give you the 65 plus the extra 10, 75, give him the 10. Then go and take like 5 from the 65 and give it to him so that he will just come.
Coach, there's still 2 million left too.
No, we'll give it to him. At the end of the day, it will be paid. So all that I'm saying is that I believe sincerely that to those saying that he doesn't want to come, it's not true. If really he's taught Ten Hag,
you think it's a money thing?
It's a money thing.
So you think that United are pushing because
Ten Hag,
they've been giving a certain assurance?
No, but why would a big team like United push?
That's what I've been saying this whole time.
United are pushing because Barcelona are pushing the player out.
Yes.
And when if push
true.
comes to shove, the player will leave. But what remains now is that the two clubs have
reached an agreement.
And
homeboy says he won't sign
the
it.
reason why I say he will not sell because Barcelona are not guaranteed that he'll pay his money.
Let's just hold on.
For me, like I'm saying, I know my boss will deal with that.
Yeah.
Martinez, don't call me. Look, Charlie, Eriksen, Charlie.
Oh.
Can you imagine the magical moment in midfield?
Oh.
When Eriksen picks up the ball with his right foot.
There will be magic at Old Trafford this season.
He picks the ball with his right foot without looking.
Oh.
Straight to Jadon Sancho.
Oh.
Oh,
Charlie.
No, for me, look, we are progressing. We know we accepted that we are rebuilding. Darwin Nunes, you are talking.
Don't go there. We are not talking about Liverpool. Why are we doing this?
We will come there.
Oh, don't go there. We'll go there. So I beg you, it's okay. It's fine. We'll get there soon. Let's get into Eriksen. Nathan, just handle that for me real quick, and then we'll delve into De Jong and Barcelona real quick. Just quick thoughts on Eriksen. Free transfer completed today.
I think it's a fantastic move. Man United have always wanted a player in that mode, somebody who can give them something very different to what Bruno Fernandes has been giving Man United. Often we've talked about Bruno's erratic nature, pass first, ask questions later, pass more and never ask questions, whatever. But I feel that Eriksen brings a certain kind of nuance to what United want, knowing that he understands Ten Hag very well and knowing that he has a lot of quality. We saw him at Brentford in the last 6 months of the season, or from January or so, and you could tell that he gave Brentford a massive lift. And he will give Man United a huge lift with his quality.
In fact, just to put that massive lift into perspective, he created more chances. I think he was only second. In fact, at the time he joined the league, nobody created more chances than him. Let me just put it that way.
Yes. So that's the kind of quality we are talking about in terms of Christian Eriksen. I wonder where will he be used. I get the sense because of his condition, he'll be eased in gradually and he'll be giving a good run of games. Maybe not play 90 minutes, but he'll feature prominently. And I feel that Ten Hag will have to see him as a great replacement for Bruno Fernandes on days where it's not working for Bruno, because you can still play Bruno, I think, through the sides. He may not play like a conventional winger, but I feel that he's got the energy to run up and down. And then you can let Eriksen play through the middle, use his ability, and then get United going in terms of creating chance. Because United last season suffered greatly from somebody who could just stay on the ball, calm things down, and see spaces and get attackers going. So I'm very delighted that United have a player like Eriksen. They've signed him on a 3-year deal. And I feel that he can help the team go places in the coming season.
Lovely stuff, Daniel.
Just quickly on the Martinez thing. I look, he's a fantastic player, but I don't think United will deploy him as a centre.
Yeah, I think they'll play him as a 6.
I think they'll play him as a 6, a defensive midfielder, because of his...
I mean, that defensive midfield you've probably been crying over for a long time.
Nketsia, in the Premier League, there are some things you can't compromise on. And
size
is
of
one
a defender is one.
Centre back, you can't compromise on it. United is not going to face the top 6 teams week in, week out. The other teams that you face, and we know the Premier League. Imagine you go to an Everton and Calvert-Lewin is put on Sandro Martinez, and they are No. You see, the Premier League is different. You can't tell me you mark me. I can give you a typical example. When Man United faced Liverpool, I think it was 2018. What Lukaku did was to go and pin himself on Lovren. Van Dijk was there, but he pinned himself on Lovren. Van Dijk was drawing closer, and if you draw closer, then you are bringing your two centre backs on one player, and it will create space for others, and that's how Rashford went to score his goal. If you can go and check, it was a deliberate attempt, and the strikers are smart. He's not going to put himself on the guy who will give him problems.
We need Maguire to sit down.
No, we don't need Maguire to sit down.
What I can tell you is that we will see when the Premier League starts.
Yes.
And
We will see what Ten Hag does
He
with
actually has a
Martinez.
skill. Coach has mentioned it. His passing is fantastic.
Yeah.
His ability to read the game. His defensive midfield style is almost like Kante. His ability to run around, sniff out danger and stop even before it starts.
A very smooth DM.
Very smooth DM. And I think he will excel. That's where he will excel if he's to come to the Premier League. Centre back will be suicide, honestly. For me, I really don't see him playing.
Varying opinions. Let's see how that goes. Let's get into talk of Barcelona. I mean, still staying on Man United in a bit. I'll bring Susu Graham in real quick. Susu, you want to have a take on the Martinez deal and the positional situation?
Yeah, it's something very interesting because last season he played all his games as centre back. People are saying he play left back, he play DM, and it just makes it very confusing because, like Daniel said, the height thing is a big concern because imagine you're playing Everton. Let's just use Everton as an example. You're playing Everton.
How about Lewin is 6'4", 6'5"?
So there's Calvin Lewin about 6. So
Calvin Lewis do
coach.
No, but coach, I think you are underestimating something. I want to challenge you to do something, right? Look at Premier League strikers in general. Premier League strikers are averagely 6 feet and above.
6'2",
This guy.
He's 5'9".
He's 5'9".
He's 5'9".
Short.
That has got nothing to do with ability to jump. Have you not seen a 5'3"?
That's actually true. That I can agree with
He
you.
wins
Actually,
lots of area
actually, what coach is saying is kind of true, but there's certain aerial balls he struggles with. When it's like a ball from the back and the striker is standing and the two of them are together, he wins more often than not because he knows how to
So on the
position
set
himself.
piece, it's about sharing the risk for you.
But on set pieces,
But coach,
that's when he
are you also
struggles
saying
and
that
crosses.
it won't be a disadvantage at all?
No, you see, let me say this straight. I think it would be suicidal to play him
As a DM?
as
Why?
a DM.
Why?
Simply, he's not a DM. He's not.
Which I agree with coach on.
Not a DM. And you see, if you are
You mean he's more like a number 8?
look, and even from the way Ten Hag plays, Ten Hag hardly plays with a DM. He
Yeah.
plays with two midfielders.
Yeah.
Okay, coming, go because
Yeah.
of the high press. Even in the game against Liverpool,
Yeah.
look at where Fred usually finds himself. Look at Scott McTominay. They were all in the half of Liverpool. If it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, they will be there and be moving haphazardly, don't know what they're doing.
Coach, in saying that,
And what I'm saying
if
that-
you go back to when Pep Guardiola came first, in his first season at Manchester City, he was almost bringing that similar philosophy from
Germany,
and he knew. You see, there are some two things you can't compromise on in the Premier League. First of all, defensive midfielder. You can, if you don't have a proper DM, you can't. Nothing will work.
Look, you see, so let's
Pep,
wait.
at the
You
end
see,
of the day, went
this
back
coach,
to playing Fernandinho.
this coach
went back and went
is
to buy
not
Rodri.
used to playing that. Maybe he will have his own way of playing without it to get it to work. If he realizes that it will not work, thankfully the boy has got the quality to step into that role.
Yeah.
But if you were to ask me, I would prefer United go and buy a specialist in that position and leave the boy to play as
play as a
alongside
centre-back.
and one of the centre back, where he can detect the play better.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, Lisandro Martinez, obviously, don't commit.
That's by me, but
Is it?
I don't know.
You don't commit the move?
No.
United fans won't be happy with you, but I'm sure they don't mind. I'm sure they don't mind.
I understand. That's what I'm saying. I understand what coach said that if he's coming to play DM, it's a mistake. But I also feel that the centre back, the physicality, I'm not too sure about him.
I'll tell you something, right? Let me tell you.
He might have that rugged thing,
Yeah.
but it's not about what you want to do. It's about what they are doing
Do
to
you,
you.
do you remember that at a point Gabriel Hines actually played at centre back for United?
Yes.
Yeah, but
Gabriel
but
Hines-
that didn't happen often.
Exactly. That wasn't his main position. That's the
Occasionally he
main
will
thing.
step
But
into
do you remember Ricardo Carvalho?
Nathan.
You know Ricardo Carvalho was a very tiny player.
Do you remember
Yes.
Marcos?
Ricardo
Rubio?
Ricardo Carvalho was not really tall.
Rojo de Wasan.
We all saw Rojo before he came to the Premier League.
Well,
Rojo was Man United third or fourth choice.
let's get to Barcelona. I'm sure a lot of you have been asking yourself, now these people cry, where are they getting money to sign all these players? But we'll break it all down for you here. The De Jong saga is at the center of the transfer storm this season. Look, it doesn't even matter what league you are in, there is no transfer story more juicy than this. The people at the event center are sacking him. He to his Charlie, he said, "You bet Jessica Charlie, right now, just confuse everybody. Now, let me just get into it quickly. I'll let Nathan get into the details. So, Barca, like I'm saying, ran themselves in some bad debt, over 1 billion euros in debt. Yeah, Charlie. Currently, they are exceeding the La Liga salary cap. So that's what's going on right now. They've bought Frank Kessie for free, Andreas Christensen for free, and then they've brought in Rafinha, I believe, for around 55 million pounds. Now, this is just a quick one. So, just to give you an overview of the players they've moved on in order to free up some space, I'll just give you a quick idea of that, and then I'll let Nathan get into the economics of what they are doing financially. So now, in 2021-2022, the club was forced to sell star player Messi. Of course, though Messi moved on, he was not sold. It was a free transfer. They needed to balance the books. Coutinho moved on as well. Carlos Alena moved on as well. Jean-Claire Todibo, I never even knew he was a Barca boy, moved on as well. Eli Moriba moved on. He refused to sign an extension, and so they decided that losing him for free didn't make sense. They let him go. Emerson Royale, they moved him on. Conrad De La Fuente, they moved him on as well. And then this helped the club to raise, guess what? After all this, 75 million euros. That's what they raised for moving all these guys out. Now, what we are hearing is that they have plans of perhaps moving on a guy by name Neto Murara. I haven't seen him play. Umtiti, they want to move him on. Oscar Mingueza, they want to move him on. Ricky Puig, they want to move him on. And then they want to move Braithwaite on as well. So all these have been transfer listed. Langley, I believe, is on loan to Spurs. Then there's Memphis, apparently he has appeared on their transfer list. And then there's also De Jong, who is a possible mover. Nathan, just tie it up all for us and then dovetail it into the whole De Jong saga.
Okay, so a bit of context for the Barca fans who are listening. Now, for like Ben said, Barca are in serious financial trouble. They've been trying to repair things ever since Juan Laporta came in, together with Xabi and the people upstairs, trying to see how they can structure things. So a bit of context. Now, on the 30th of June, or maybe I should go back to last season. At the end of last season, Barcelona's wage bill was 560 million euros. What does it mean? It means that they were paying a total amount of salaries they paid players.
560 million.
So when they looked back on the season, they had paid players 560 million euros.
Christ in me.
That's madness.
To put it into context, Bayern Munich, who are in a better position than Barca, paid their players total 300 million euros.
Do you have money? We can afford to pay over 1 billion. There would be no problem.
There's cash.
There's cash.
You understand? So again, that's the first building block. Barca's wage bill situation at the end of last season. Now they had to find money. Why did they have to find money? Now, in the last 2 to 3 years, La Liga had instituted a policy that said, at the end of every season, we'll check every club's books. You should not exceed a certain limit in terms of salary. If your salary or your wage bill exceeds a certain point, you are in trouble. That is how come last season Barca struggled to register players. They struggled to register Aguero before he retired. They struggled to register Memphis Depay and all these other guys. Now, last season they made some moves. They brought Luke De Jong, brought Adama Traore. They couldn't keep them, even though they wanted to, and they let them go back to their clubs. Antoine Griezmann, they've let him go back to Atletico, even though some people think that the accounting around that deal is a little funny.
Wasn't it on loan?
They allowed him to go on loan first. I'm not sure what has happened to it.
Because they are paying him about 600 or 700,000 euros a week. So he
Antoine Griezmann.
Yeah. So to put it into context, that's the starting point. Now, point number 2. On the 30th of June this year, Barca announced that they had secured. Now, they announced 2 things. They said they were going to do 2 things to bring them money. The first thing they did was to sell 10% of their La Liga rights to a US company called 6th Street for an amount of 207 million euros. Now, the 10% was for the next 25 years. So for the next 25 years, if Barca's...
That is terrible business.
If Barca's TV rights money comes, 10% of that belongs to this 6th Street company.
Investment group, yeah.
Good. In a few weeks from now, they are going to sell another 15%. It is all to raise money. So Barca raised 207.5 million euros. What did that mean? It meant that when they worked the books, they had an excess of 161 million euros, and they could present it to La Liga and say, La Liga, this is how much money we have. So we can actually pay players and register them and all of that. Now, because of Barca's situation, the La Liga has instituted a certain rule for them called the 3:1, meaning that for every euro they want to invest in Barca, they have to recoup 3 euros. You get it? For every 1 euro they want to invest, they need to make sure that they make 3 euros
you're bringing in 3
because of their situation. Now, Barca's debt is between 550 million pounds and between that and 800 million pounds. So the amount lies in between somewhere.
It's almost €1 million.
All of that,
€1 billion.
a billion pounds.
Yeah.
All of that is on player wages. So Barca's debt is heavily on player wages. That's what is costing them. How did they get here? A number of bad moves. Move number 1, they wasted the Neymar money. Bought Coutinho, bought Dembele, wasted the rest. And then Messi's
bought Antoine Griezmann. That's the one you should talk about.
Messi's constant renewal. With every renewal Messi granted Barcelona, or every renewal they granted Messi, he took more of their money until the last one he took everything.
Remember, Messi was on €1 million a week before he left.
You get it? Good. Now, at this point, Barca are operating on what they call a 1 in, 1 out. So for every player they bring in, they need to move somebody off. You mentioned the names of the players. I'll go over their names again. Ricky Puig, Neto, Umtiti, Braithwaite, and Oscar Mingueza. All of them have been told, you can start looking for new clubs. We don't need you here. Umtiti failed the medical this week or last week at Rennes.
I don't think they'll get up to 50 million for those.
So him, question mark. Braithwaite, nobody knows. Ricky Puig, nobody knows. Now, to bring it into this De Jong episode, this week we saw
just add something quick before you go, and I think just for perspective. So apparently there's also they want to sell 49.9% of the Barca licensing and merchandising company.
Oh, yes.
Now apparently this is supposed to bring their revenue for this summer to around 600 million euros.
And it's not the only thing they are selling.
Yeah. Apparently this is supposed to be what will give them breathing space
They are selling their
register
souls.
players.
So they are selling the merchandise.
And
remember, they've sold the naming rights to the stadium to Spotify. So the Camp Nou is now known as the Spotify Camp Nou.
Good. And they say now they are remodeling the Camp Nou to become, if you want to do a wedding renewal,
a few
if
weeks
Susu
ago,
wants
they
to do
actually
engagement.
A few weeks ago, they actually announced that the Camp Nou was now open for anybody. If you wanted to host any event, come and see them. They were willing to lease it out or rent it out for a fee.
I think we have to be fair to Barca. A lot of clubs do this. But you see, they have corporate spaces and stuff.
Exactly.
The Camp Nou is not that.
It never used to be that type of place.
It's not as modern in terms of those corporate facilities.
Like hotel suites, like new restaurants and stuff.
So now that we've painted the picture in terms of Barca's situation, let us zero in on this De Jong money matter.
Yeah.
Good. Now, at the start of COVID, Barca asked players to take pay cuts. Piqué took some. Other players took, I think Messi took some. Remember the back and forth between Messi and the club? Busquets and co. De Jong took a pay cut. In return, the club said, in a few years, when we'll talk about your salary and we'll increase it. So he took a pay cut hoping that the salary will be increased again. Now the pay cut he took has led Barca to owe De Jong 17 million euros in deferred salary payment. So what they should have paid him, the difference he gave away was 17 million euros. And that is what they owe him now. In addition to that, he's supposed to receive 18 million euros of fixed salary plus another 2.8 million as part of his loyalty bonus. So for every year De Jong stays at Barcelona, they pay him 2.88 million euros. That's the loyalty bonus. Now looking to the 2023-24 season, his wages alone, we are looking at 28 million euros. So those are the finances Barca are looking at. They are looking at the Excel sheet and they say, wow, we need to pay Frankie De Jong 28 million. Bartomeu signed it. You understand?
Bartomeu was paying Griezmann over 700,000.
Imagine. See, so that is the context. So Barca owed De Jong 17 million euros in deferred payments from 2020. They want to move the player out because when they work out the numbers, that's 88.7 million euros taking off their wage bill should they sell him. That is why they are in a hurry to sell the player. Because it frees up almost 90 million euros they don't have now, but they will get if the player goes. Now we come to the sticking point. The player is arguing on 2 grounds. One, he really doesn't want to leave Barcelona. That's a fact.
See, that's his dream club.
I'm hearing that he and his new fiance, he's bought a house. He's
Oh,
ready to have a child. All of that.
You can buy a house in Manchester. You can buy a house here, Accra, Songo Junction, Medina. You can buy a house anywhere. Doesn't mean you have to stay there. He has a house in Holland. No, like back the no more.
So there's that
He just bought the house.
That's what I'm saying. That he can afford
reason
to
number
buy
one.
in Songo Junction.
Chris, so reason number one, he says he really doesn't want to leave. Reason number two, even if he brings his mind round to the idea of leaving, his fear is that the moment he signs the contract with Man United, Barca may not want to pay the money. So the argument he and his agent are making is that, okay, if you want us to leave, we may leave, but give us a guarantee that you will pay us that 17 million euros. Even if when we leave, you still pay.
Yes, that one they will
Be honest, a lot of guys are doing this to Barca.
Now, to put that into context, Bayern Munich, remember,
Yeah.
Barca are still chit-chatting with Bayern Munich over Lewandowski.
Yep.
Munich have been clear. They've told Barca that you want up. We don't have a problem. We want to sell him too. But pay us everything up front to the last euro before we sell him, because we are not sure you will exist as a club in 2 years.
And this is also based on the fact that the Vidal transfer to Barca, there were issues about the payments from Barca's side. It turns out Barca's installments were not as timely as Bayern would have liked. So there's a bit of mistrust
And guess what?
already.
Guess what? Now Leeds United in selling Rafinha
Good.
to
They
Barca,
also
they inserted a penalty clause of 12 million
yes.
euros. And they said that if you can't pay us all the money by a certain date, you will be forced to pay us a penalty of 12 million euros. So it looks like nobody actually trusts Barcelona.
De Jong, you have to be smart, and he has to listen to
Now,
his inner
Chris,
soul.
let me.
Which one is the inner soul?
The one that when you sleep and you listen to yourself, you see, that time when you hear the Lord, the God
voice
speaking
of the
to
Lord,
you,
yeah, the
you
voice
hear
of-
it. It's your instinct.
Now,
They've taken your number, they've given it to somebody. They've told you, America, Wakeboy, Beshi. You also is serious, is one of the best players for the Dutch, that Louis van Gaal is taking
Starboy.
it.
Starboy.
But no trouble,
Now, the final bit I will mention is that reports are also saying that all of this is beginning to upset Man United. They've given Barcelona an ultimatum. Some reports say the ultimatum is by the end of this week. Some stories put that a few days from now, a few weeks from now, that if Barca still can't force this move, United will look elsewhere. And truth be told, United do have other players on their short
It
list.
is.
Talk about the other options United
Now,
have.
Leandro Paredes. United asked about Leandro Paredes from PSG. PSG said, pay 35 million euros. United said, we will not pay 35 million euros. The guy doesn't even play that. He has a bit of an injury record. Why should we pay 35 million?
Million euros.
But he's on their list. Ruben Neves is one.
Ruben Neves won't come cheap.
I heard
You
he's also
Tillman.
bought a house in Wolverhampton.
Yuri Tillman.
Like coach said, you can buy a house anywhere.
Yuri Tillman is another option that Man United are looking at.
Knows the Premier League already.
What I will say though is that I'm surprised Man United are not asking after Idrissa Gana Gueye, because PSG have put him and about 10 other players on transfer list.
Yeah.
I think
And
Ghana,
Ghana Gay is a super DM.
No,
I think it's his age. He's about 81.
No more.
I think he's
He
age.
still has about
So-
two, three
so
seasons
really,
in him.
But it will be the Matic thing all over again.
Well.
You see, all the players we are mentioning, none of them is a De Jong. You
You mean that is why United is
that is why we are
insisting?
there, because you see, as for Idrissa Gana Gueye, when we buy De Jong, then we can go and give PSG like 5 million and bring him. They've put him on the market.
Yeah.
See,
I mean, once you transfer list the player,
So there's that.
You
Now,
essentially decrease his
the
market
final thing
value.
that complicates
Yeah.
all of this is that there's no other team that wants to sign De Jong. Chelsea thought about it. They've moved away from that idea. So now it is you only Man United that have the money, and they are dangling the money. And Barcelona are looking at the money. They are looking at the Excel sheet and say, "Hey,
Shit, Charlie, this guy
Almost
will
90
he will solve
million.
all our problems.
You see,
Daniel.
another thing we are missing, at least this is coming from the Dutch press, from De Jong's side. He's looking at the Ousmane Dembele example, where Barcelona were forcing. It was a very similar thing in January, where they were
Dembele
literally
literally
forcing,
had to beg to stay.
and he insisted he would stay. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
renewed.
Exactly.
It's a free transfer.
So
He's
they
taking
say
a
from
massive
De Jong's
pay cut.
side, he's looking at it from this point. Yes, you are angry, but in the next 2-3 months, you don't have a player like me. Whatever happens, I'm De Jong. Eventually, this storm will ride, and then you let me play.
hardly gets
and
into
I'll
the
play
team.
I'll play my way back into your plan. So it's not like Barca have frozen him out on the footballing side. Footballing wise,
But is he sure they won't freeze him out?
No, they
Don't
need
freeze
him.
him. Don't freeze him.
The truth is he will play.
He will play.
No,
They need
I
him.
doubt.
No, come on. He will play.
I doubt. Look,
I think a lot of that will depend on what happens in the next few
If you look
days.
at Barcelona's midfield, okay, Busquets understudy looks like his Kessie.
Yeah.
Then you have
I don't
Gavi,
think he can play there from what I've seen.
you look at Javi, you look at Pedri, and then who else? That is it.
Yeah.
It's De Jong. By all means, you play. He knows that you get angry. It's very similar to the Osman.
in the Osman Dembele.
So yes.
There is nothing similar about this too. Osman Dembele's own
Coach wants
his
his
contract has expired,
Yeah.
and Barca say take a pay cut.
Yeah.
Where else you go?
No,
but
that's
you
not. I'm talking about January.
No,
They said
no.
he should leave
By
there and
January,
then.
they wanted him
Was
to
it-
leave.
Yes,
Yes,
they were
because-
struggling to register
So
players.
eventually, they were struggling to say, leave. I won't leave. I won't. He's staying.
they still
he plays.
registered him.
But in 6 months, go and check how much he's taking now.
But you see, in
That is the
Dembele's
difference, oh.
No, coach. In Dembele's
Yeah.
case, Dembele was collecting like 250 or something. Because everyone on Barca was at high wages.
Yeah.
Dembele right now knows that he'll be lucky to get 100 at any other club.
That's what I'm saying.
If he takes a
And
40%
De Jong is
pay
not
cut.
Dembele. He hasn't got any injury record. Ashwebo, Akejebi, and no JJ no ya. Yeah, that's your problem.
This is very interesting.
Which is so frustrating.
No, Ashwebo, Akejebi, no ya. JJ no ya. Me no go.
I think the situation is really embarrassing for De Jong and even United.
Yes, look.
Honestly.
He's so good a
Personally
player.
for me, let's
Just
even
accept
put
and
this.
walk.
Let's even put this saga aside. In today's day and age, okay, I will not fault any player for not wanting to come to Manchester United.
We
I will
understand.
not fault any player.
We
Look
understand.
at where the young is at.
No, you don't talk about that.
Look at the Barcelona.
Auntie,
project.
you don't
no,
talk
let
about
me
that.
talk about
Man
it.
United-
So let
I'm
him land.
Let me
Just
talk
before you
about
talk, United would have never gone in for De Jong. But for the manager, that's his father.
It's not even the manager.
It's Ten Hag.
United
Hag.
have lost the only player who was in the mode of the young. You need
No, who's that player?
You need De Jong.
You don't do that. You don't do that. Okay, who's that player? Yeah.
They don't buy him and see.
Let's move on to Chelsea.
Play Ten Hag ball with him.
So just quick one before we move on to
Say
Chelsea.
something. We just have to highlight how bad Barca's mismanagement is. Because a lot of teams are in debt. Real Madrid are 500, 600 million in debt. But you know the difference is there's a difference between long-term debt and short-term debt. Real Madrid have 30 years to pay their debt. Barca have like 5 years to pay their 1 billion. And this is about the way the club was. Bartomeu was taking very big loans on short. He was thinking that money will last forever. If COVID hadn't come by now, Barca are still spending foolishly. But
Very true.
But yeah.
Very true. And just even to add, Gavi has signed a contract, but apparently that contract cannot even be guaranteed until they finish all their dealings this summer.
It should go.
It's you know the point
Allow
is
De Jong.
Barca are in a fix, and for example, the Coutinho move to Aston Villa. It was a heavily discounted deal. Look at how much
they
they
begged
spent.
him to take a pay cut too. And he
Coutinho
took
could
it.
have done what De Jong is doing. And that would have hampered your football career.
Yeah.
You're
There's
just
difference.
25
Coutinho
years
knew
old.
that if he stayed, he won't play. Then
He
knows
wants-
that
and he
wants to go to the World Cup.
He won't play.
He knows.
Javi has told me.
Let's go. It's done.
Okay, let's move it on. I've just seen Kalidou Koulibaly photograph himself in an airplane. Looks like he's saying bye-bye to Napoli. Welcome to Chelsea Football Club. He's 31 years old. I believe the fee is between 45 to around 50 million.
Reported age is 31.
Oh, don't do this.
He was born in France.
They say he was born in
Yeah,
France,
he was born in
so
France.
he's clear.
Okay.
They say he's clear.
Okay.
So around 45 to 50 million pounds. Chelsea are looking to wrap it up. I think he's on his way probably to the United States to join up with them. Daniel, don't call me or not.
He's a world-class signing.
No more.
World-class defender. Top guy. Look, he's an excellent top-class defender.
You need to explain that to the uninitiated. I mean, if somebody's not heard about Kalidou Koulibaly,
they didn't watch the AFCON. They didn't watch the AFCON.
hold on. You see, you are all assuming that you are assuming that everybody who listens is a hardcore football fan.
Yeah.
There are people who listen to this who are not hardcore football fans but love their Chelsea,
Kalidou Koulibaly.
and we want to know
Kalidou Koulibaly.
what kind of player they are getting.
K2.
Top-class, world-class defender. Top guy. He's quick. He's athletic. Left foot, right foot, excellent passer.
reads the
great
game.
in the air. He reads the. You see, he's not those reactionary defenders. No.
He's very proactive.
very proactive.
I mean, he is a game reader.
Yes,
Oh,
you
Saleh.
can see the fire even before the matches has been taken out.
Hey!
Quench it.
Right now, you the carry go.
Oh, it's true. Look, class guy. But you see, my only problem with this deal, it should have happened 3 years ago.
Yeah.
When
Are you saying?
when
Are you
Napoli
saying
wanted
he has?
80 million?
Are you saying he has chrododistic symptoms?
I'm not saying he has- I'm
United
not saying he has-
paid that 80 million on Maguire.
It should have gone to
Should have gone to Napoli.
Look, I'm not saying he has chrododistic or chrododistic tendencies. But my
the
point
root
is-
of chrododism is coming to replace.
Rudiger took the thing away.
Rudiger is gone. He's going to infect the other people.
If he's coming to replace him, there is every likelihood that traces of that in the dressing room. That is highly infectious. That could
I pray for Koulibaly. But Daniel, just go on. Yeah.
Look, my point is, if you look at his style of defending, okay, he's a very athletic type of defender. He's not your Thiago Silva type of defender. And you see, those players, your body must work for you.
Yeah.
As you age, it affects your game style. It is the reason why, in fact, we all know, Kante will not last for the next 5 years unless he modifies.
It looks like he's already on his way down.
He's starting.
Is the reason why people like Robin and Gareth Bale struggled as soon as they entered their 30s. Because their game style is
They need
Based
their
on
bodies.
athleticism.
Yeah,
Look,
they
look
need-
at
they need
Alexis
their
Sanchez
body.
now.
Exactly.
Look at him.
Perfect example, actually.
And Koulibaly is one of those players.
The only person who's defied those or probably Cristiano Ronaldo.
Because he's modified his game. Messi also modified
Yeah.
his game.
And Ronaldo is a
He
fitness
doesn't
freak
eat
as well.
burgers.
That's what I'm saying.
Ronaldo doesn't eat burgers.
Yeah.
Hazard and Co.
Water-
burgers
wa-
eaters.
water, white chicken, and
regularly. Pizza.
And fried chicken.
Fried chicken. Fries can it be?
T-bone and things.
Hey, that means in my 30s,
Go
I'm
ahead.
dead, though.
That's my problem. And I'm saying it's a serious problem because watching him last season doesn't look like he's modifying his game. And I don't think Chelsea are not buying him to come and modify his game and to come and be a Thiago Silva. I don't think he knows how to defend any other way than what he knows how to do. So I'm looking at 2 seasons max. I don't think this is like a longevity signing. It's not something that is for the future. I think it's an immediate problem they want to fix. But I'll not be surprised if Chelsea go out in the next season or two to get another centre back.
They were trying to sign Nathan Ake.
No,
That's what it
I
means.
think it must
I
be
don't
put
even
on
want
record that their preferred choice was the Dutch boy at Juventus.
yeah.
Yes.
No, De Ligt.
De Ligt.
De Ligt, yeah.
He has told them,
He's
I
blocked
prefer
their
Bayern
calls.
Munich
Yeah,
than
he
this
blocked their
team.
calls, refused to pick up Chelsea's calls.
Charlie, don't do this.
That is true.
He said,
Don't
"I'm
do
going
this.
to Bayern."
Rafinha did the
You
same.
mean he said, don't call me?
Don't
Yeah, he
stop
told
them.
them,
Charlie.
Me, you are
To the
disturbing
Red
me.
You see that video of Doug Hedmund? Don't pick one. Don't pick
Don't do this. Don't do this. Let's go. Daniel, just wrap it up for me on Koulibaly.
Yeah, so look, Chelsea, if we are all talking about him,
If he stays fit,
yeah, we are talking about
he's a
immediate.
solid signing.
Next 2 seasons, top class signing, world class. Because
I think he has like 3 good seasons left in
he's
him.
one of the best in the
I
world,
want
top
to
5
see
in the world.
he and the old man pair.
Yeah.
I think it would be a wrong partnership because that is what is going to get Koulibaly to exert more of his body in the defense.
More running,
Because they don't
more
have an
moving on.
option, do they?
3 back.
You know the
No,
funny
but yeah,
They have to play a 3 back.
I honestly think Chelsea will go and buy another centre
Centre
back.
back, yeah.
Because as it stands, it is Koulibaly,
And
Thiago Silva, and Malang Sarr.
Oh, Chaloba.
Charlie,
Malang Sarr.
I saw a video where Raheem Sterling was
we
walking
need-
with Malang Sarr. I was asking Malang Sarr, but you cry, are you a left back or a centre back? It was really funny. That was good.
Ebe flexible, right?
Charlie.
Imagine him paddy ne kuboni ni.
So
I have to say, in
yeah.
hindsight, hindsight is 2020. But I feel like if Chelsea had kept Tomori, because you've seen what Tomori is doing in the same league.
Yeah,
that
If
Koulibaly is.
Lampard had kept Tomori.
Hindsight is 2020. Because if they had kept,
but you know the backstory to
lost
that.
is your dear Milan.
you know
I love
the
it. I love
backstory
it.
to
I
that.
love Tomori.
You know the backstory to the Tomori.
No. I didn't
He
know that.
wanted Tarkovsky, so he was offloading centre backs
to buy Jimmy Tarkovsky.
and now he's got Tarkovsky at what's his name? Everton. Lampard.
Frank Lampard. Interesting
If
stuff.
Marina had allowed Lampard to stay another year,
Charlie, like you saw everybody. But talking about that,
Brexit
though,
football.
talking about that, I think Chelsea's made one of the most interesting moves by bagging Raheem Sterling.
I was just about to come to that.
Raheem.
27 years.
Sterling then
Just about 50 years old. 50 million.
Tapping.
Ni tapping, I can't-
Tapping. A tapper.
We
Are
have
you
Ruud
saying
van
it's not a good
Nistelrooy.
signing?
Did he not score tappings too?
No, but Root, he was
Raheem
born
said
a box.
only Lionel Messi has scored more goals for Pep Guardiola.
No, Pep Guardiola, he saw Raheem Sterling. Oh.
Yeah.
And he's rather renew the contract of Mahrez. That should tell you something.
I think that's a
Raheem
mistake.
Sterling is better than Chelsea's entire front three.
I personally think
that's
that
a
Raheem
big
Sterling.
mistake.
I think Raheem Sterling had hit his ceiling at Manchester City.
Ebina.
He looked for the past 2 seasons. He looked like he looked very unmotivated. That's what I think.
I find these
I don't
things
think
very
in terms of
interesting.
ability.
though.
City have lost Gabi Jesus
They've not lost. They allowed him to.
and and Raheem Sterling
Yeah.
in one window.
Yeah. They look
Right.
like they did it willingly.
And I
They
asked
brought Haaland, they brought the boy from
Alvarez.
Alva,
don't
okay,
need
so
those
maybe those are the replacements. But I
They look like they're in rebuild mode actually.
they are rebuilding.
According to reports, they are looking to sell Alexander Zinchenko to Arsenal as well.
Django. No.
Yeah, Zinchenko. Coaches Zinchenko. They look like they want to sell him as well. But just wrap it up. Susu, you're making a point.
I feel like Sterling is being criminally underrated.
I think so too.
His numbers are very solid.
I think
They're
Raheem Sterling
very
is a
solid.
very good player.
You can say, but when you see him for England, you see how much more dynamic he is and that kind of stuff. For City, he's playing a certain role, so he's finishing, he's getting the.
He's not been happy at City for the last 2
because he
seasons.
wants to be the main man, and I feel like as in terms of the wingers, he should be. He deserves that status. When you look at the other wingers, with all due respect to them, he's been the most consistent of them. He was scoring 20 goals, 18 goals, 17 goals, and then suddenly Pep decides that no, you should be coming in and out of the games. I don't know what it is, but it's very unfair to him. And Man City's loss is Chelsea's game, because I don't want to say he's better than a certain player, but if I look
Better than all of them.
no, I'm not talking about Chelsea players. I'm talking about players outside Chelsea. If I look at someone like Sadio Mane, their numbers are very comparable.
The numbers are literally almost the same,
and
actually.
if you even look at production, Sterling's numbers are low-key better. But we talk about Mane as one of the best players in the world. But we don't give Sterling that grade. I'm not saying Sterling is better than Mane. Please, don't go and misquote me.
But you can say it. Anytime.
I'm not saying
It will
that.
be
But you can
debatable.
say it.
It's
I'm not
actually
saying that.
debatable.
Oh, Sadio Mane, a better face.
No. But you get what I'm saying. The fact is, we talk about Mane as one of the best players in the league. But Mane scored 16 goals last season. Sterling scored 13. Mane got 2 assists. Sterling got 5.
You mean
If you add it together, it's the same 18. No, I'm just saying.
yeah.
They are playing from the flanks.
They are all playing the same and getting similar quality. So we need to give Sterling some more respect.
look, Chelsea have backed a quality player,
Yeah.
and
Top
I think
class.
that very
Raheem.
brilliant player. You know, and I'd love to see
It
what
also
it
be
is.
put on record that he misses a lot of chances.
But Chris, I mean, the point
Are you not choosing to highlight his negative side? Because every player has deficiencies.
Look, to be honest with you, maybe he became a bit demotivated at Man City.
Yeah, I think the last 2
So
seasons
I'll
have not
sit
been
on the
great.
fence.
But even
He
but-
has to leave before the
And
end
wait
of
to
last
see
season.
what he
no, but
will do
even
at Chelsea.
I know. I think that's
Because
what is
the last
actually
2
crazy.
seasons,
Yeah,
he's been poor.
but that's
Very, very poor.
trust me. But if you go and look at his numbers will say something very different.
That's what I'm saying.
and
If you
see-
set a standard for yourself, you cannot match
Exactly.
it. He's been poor.
well,
the last season, because Pep would have sold
Raheem
him.
Sterling's poor season is Hakim Ziyech's elite season. So we'll
Hakim
see.
Ziyech.
In fact, Raheem Sterling.
Level,
In fact, Hakim Ziyech has not even reached Raheem Sterling's poor
Sterling is
season.
better than Hakim Ziyech.
Talk about Hakim Ziyech. This week he brought us a very interesting announcement.
He has sacked his agent.
He says he's representing himself.
Yeah, he says that. Yeah,
He wrote that day. He read it.
Please,
himself.
can we stop?
Nobody
Can we stop talking about AC Milan's newest signing like that? I don't want to hear it.
talking about
Don't talk
talking
about
about AC Milan and Leeds United. Let me just get to Leeds United real quick. Let me get to Susu on this one. There's a guy at Club Bruges.
Charles de Ketelaere.
No, Charlie.
Charlie.
The Ketelar.
Charlie Ketelaere.
The Ketelar.
Charlie, his name resembles
Charlie.
Les Châtelets.
It's got Charlie the Ketelar. Now he's a right sided midfielder. He's an inverted winger, more like.
Playing most of this season in strike. I've scouted him.
Exactly. So he can play as an
he's going to Leeds
as an
United.
arrowhead.
Yeah, it looks
It's
like
actually a fight between Leeds United and AC Milan now. Now, according to the report, he's prioritizing AC Milan because obviously they're a bigger club, they have more
should
money,
go to Leeds,
they are in
they
the
can be
Champions
relegated
League
anytime.
They have
as
more
well.
money now.
Exactly. Right now, I think he's thinking about Leeds United. You were flirting with relegation last
I don't
season.
even think it's the fact that it's a Champions League.
Exactly.
They have more money now. Milan has more money.
Just give anybody listening to us a good sense of what kind of player we're talking about. I think he's 20 years now, 20 or 19 years.
He's a very young player. He's one of those strike. I mean, think of how Firmino plays strike. He can drop deep, do the nice, beautiful things, but he also has some nice skills. He likes cutting from the right side onto his left foot, shoots. So he's a very good player. He's very interesting. Milan have had problems with the number 10 and the right wing. If you've watched them last season, there's almost no one there. We had to play Junior Messi. Kessie was playing as Junior Messi. So if you notice, Kessie was the most of the last few matches this season, Kessie was playing as a 10. And Ro is totally unsuited too. So it's a very big problem. That's why they are looking at ZH and CDK, as we like to call him, to come in and fill the hole. But it's it's in line with Milan buying young players, because you look at someone like, again, Tomori, we just mentioned before, a young player.
We have money. That's why.
Oh, it's not that we don't have money. Relax. We have money, but we don't have 40 million.
Is there
for
cash?
Him. Oh, there's cash, but there's cash.
You shouldn't
Once
associate yourself where you cannot.
Oh, but once it is cash, once it is cash.
You mean there's cash?
There's cash. It's not a lot, but there's cash.
There's bread money.
Well,
Milan have bread money.
I'll get to
Zinchenko.
Zinchenko in a bit, because there's just a breaking story that says that the negotiations between Arsenal and Manchester City is progressing rapidly. I'll get back to that in a bit. Let me get to my message box real quick. This one here is from Sadiq from Kaswa, says, evening Benem team. What I want to say is that I don't think Man United should sign De Jong with what's going on at Barca and with his contract issues. I think it's in bad taste and embarrassing for United to keep chasing a player who clearly doesn't want to play for us. Lambert from Dodowa says that after giving accolades to all the clubs, you should have given Barcelona poor FC, because Messi chopped all their money. My prayers are with our athletes. We wish them well.
It's a place of ghosts. Now on your drinks at Teves. And your coach punk a meton. A donda also. Don't come yo, don't come.
He says shout outs to Odonko and Ofochu in Dodowa. Okay, this one's from Wofa J inside Atadeka, says Christian slightly used Ericsson. I think I read that already. Let's go up. Let me read a few more messages. This one here. No, let me read more messages. This one here says Panorama. Those doubting Martinez's defensive ability should go and watch what he did to Haaland in the Champions League. Kofi Abanga Teves with that one. This one here says, let me say I'm very happy that AC Milan won the Serie A title, and trust me, the best player for this AC Milan team is Theo Hernandez. How I wish Man United could go and buy him to solve our left back problems. Anyway, if not for
Theo Hernandez is a striker who starts play on the left hand side of defense.
I think Milan's player definitely will be Rafael Leao. Yeah, he definitely will be their best player.
Please, touch not my annoying.
This one here is from this one's for Ripped FC. He says the Man United players, especially Scott McTominay and Fred, getting ripped instead of working on their play is funny to watch. Charlie, they say Ripped FC. Charlie. He says Daniel Cranton's comment on Lukaku's head has made my night, Charlie. It says the head hashtag the head is sweating. K from Insawam. More messages. I don't.
I think you're talking about from last week.
And Rita also likes to make that analogy that Lukaku just sweats. This one here says, I don't know why some Chelsea fans are worried about how many centre backs we bring in. We are losing 3. Sarr was borderline unplayable at times. Silva, while amazing last season, is getting older, and we have a full schedule this season. Bringing in 3 quality veterans just makes sense to me. As for the FDJ situation, it's just like a small girl being forced to marry an old man. Farouk headliner inside. Oh, Charlie, this one here says, it says, good evening, guys. Evangelist Emmanuel from Airport Residential Area. Charlie, he says that please tell coach that the season will start right now and he will be quiet because Zebra FC will be destroyed by Chelsea. Okay, I don't know who Zebra FC is.
I think because they had the black and
white.
Last season, you couldn't destroy. Now that Ericsson and then Martinez and De Jong and
hey Charlie,
coach,
wait. So let me just ask you before I even go on my messages. If United pick up all their transfer targets, where do they finish next season?
Top 2.
Oh, Charlie, don't.
You mean top 2?
Yes, it's a rebuilding process that has the potential of getting to the Champions League. Are you coach? What's your problem?
Let him relax and think about it.
Let me tell you.
There's Daniel, don't speak for coach. Coach, please don't mind.
It's a rebuilding.
Top 2.
Look, Frankie De Jong.
Let me put
Frankie De Jong.
I was not here.
Martinez. Ericsson. Do you know how many chances Ericsson alone will create? No, 0. Selewa. Traffic woman.
It's a yamni.
Jadon Sancho, first preseason. Oh no, Nyaba Nanoko. What Beshidin, what you
Coach, Chicharito says I should tell you. Do you know Chicharito?
is it the original Chicharito or fake Chicharito?
This Chicharito, he lives in Goforidia.
Or is it there?
He says I should tell you that we no go fit enter top 4 safe.
Oh, he's not a true United supporter.
Okay.
I think he is.
Okay.
Ah,
We'll
no,
see.
you are.
Let me read a few more messages. Prince Henry says, kindly tell coach that he should limit his expectations because this season every team is ready and prepared for the campaign ahead. If care is not taken, United will still not be part of the top 4 come next season. Somebody's just echoing his thoughts here. He says the future is pregnant. Regards to Honorable Basil
can you
Kwedu
explain that one
Ahiable.
to
I
us?
have no idea. He says a few shout outs. Let me read a few more messages. Now I'll come back for concluding thoughts on Zinchenko and then we can take the show home.
Zinchenko.
Yeah, Charlie. This one says, once again, Frankie is going nowhere. He wants to stay at Barca. Barca is his home. I can bet my last penny that he will stay. Lisandro Martinez is primarily a centre back, but he's capable of playing at left back and as a DM, having played at times for defensa.
Justicia.
That was his club side in
That's his
Argentina.
club. That's where Ajax
Oh,
got
okay.
him from.
And
yeah.
Ajax. He says he's a ball playing centre back and is known for his range of passing and composure on the ball.
This is a very learned comment.
In
90 yards.
the
90 yards.
2021-2022 Eredivisie season, he averaged more passes per 90 minutes than any other player.
It's a
Wow.
very learned
90
text.
yards,
A very
80
learned
yards.
text.
Let me just see if I have
120.
a few more messages and then I'll come. Say, please ask coach. Now, why is it that he doesn't want to understand? Daniel is speaking the truth. Coach is overexcited. Man United will be the same. Coach, it looks like you are alone.
But
oh.
Daniel and I, we are saying the same thing until when he said we will not finish the top 4.
Yeah.
I think we'll finish in the top 4. In fact, top 2.
Fair enough. Zinchenko, any takers? Zinchenko
I'll
to
take
Arsenal.
I'll take it. Look.
Tierney, he's going to on City, or he's going to play in midfield.
But any who plays half the games in the season, someone to us play the other half of the games.
Well,
and we saw
well.
Tavares was not up to scratch. Are you going to push Shaka there? It's okay. It's me. I'm fine with it. They need someone to, be there for Tierney.
But guys, again, I look at it from a Man City perspective. Why are they sanctioning all these exits?
That's what I'm saying. They look like they're in rebuild mode.
Zinchenko.
I think Pep feels like he has seen enough with regard. In fact, if you look at the squad Guardiola inherited, only De Bruyne is left. Like,
I
De Bruyne is the only
completely
person left in that
completely
mix.
understand.
But I have to say, City, I'm still not sure about. Like you said, I'm not sure about the players they are
Yeah.
letting go and who's good.
And the players they are bringing
the
in.
incomings I've
Assistants.
seen, I'm not.
They are all newcomers.
No, see, they've sold
Haaland has to adjust. Alvarez has to adjust to the league.
And they play the same position. So even though Alvarez can play on the wing,
yeah.
I feel like they still, if they are letting Jesus and Sterling go, another winger might need to come in.
apart from Raheem Sterling.
But I hear
Those
Manchester-
they've let go.
I hear they want to
There were
buy
players
Neymar.
who were on the periphery.
I hear they're actually in for Neymar. Like everybody looked like they were silent on them. Apparently, Pep is trying to speed up things to see if Neymar will actually want to come to Manchester City. So that's something.
Yeah.
That's something we should keep an eye on. I'm sure by next week it will probably have grown more wings.
City as they look. City as. It's perfect business. Kukurela is coming. Zinchenko is good.
But that's a lot of adjusting to do.
No, Kukurela is a
look,
natural
if-
left back.
you see,
He's a natural
if that
left
is
back.
the
He solves
play,
the problem.
if that is
Remember
the
that, look,
play,
remember that
then it
Zinchenko
makes
was
sense.
like a makeshift.
Yeah,
Zinchenko
can
is-
play DM sometimes,
Yeah,
number
he's
6,
actually
8
a number
sometimes.
10. He's
Yeah,
a number
number
10.
10.
his
They bought
country.
him as a midfielder, but he's playing as a left back because of the whole Mendy situation.
Yeah.
Now he's a good left back. Granted, Kukurela is coming speciality. Makes sense. You look at Raheem Sterling. You yourself spoke about Raheem Sterling's last 2 seasons. The player's heart in City
Yeah,
is gone.
it's gone.
You've brought in Alvarez centre forward. You've brought in Haaland centre forward. What's his name? Gabriel Jesus gone. Sterling is gone. These 2 guys have come in. They solved the problem. Remember they bought Grealish last season.
Yeah.
This is not done.
Who are-
You think after one season,
Everybody's forgetting about him. I'm forgetting about him.
Pep is going to fold his
You see,
arms. No.
the reason why I'm asking all of this is, listen, if you lose Raheem Sterling, I won't mention Gabriel Jesus because I feel that Erling Haaland is a bit of an upgrade, so that's different.
A bit.
Manner of speaking.
Hey, are you coming to doubt Erling Haaland on this show?
Oh no, I'm still saying the a bit was a bit. It was too little.
Okay, it's a heavy upgrade. I didn't want to offend the Arsenal fans, so heavy upgrade.
If you don't know that the Haaland is a heavy upgrade on Gabriel Jesus,
Then that
you
one.
should be there.
So I'm asking. You see what I'm asking now? If they line up, you have Riyad Mahrez on one flank. I still feel that there's a bit of a gap down this other side.
Grealish.
Foden is there.
Okay.
Grealish is there.
Foden day,
Great,
Grealish day.
Great. Okay.
Let's wrap it up. I don't know if you guys have any shout outs before you go. Let me just do two. Let me just do two.
I just
today,
have a
today.
quick thing on my mind.
Okay, quick one.
The MPP is having their event tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
It's at the Accra Sports Stadium.
Yeah, man.
We beg them. The Accra Sports Stadium will be used for a league very soon. So the NSA, we beg you.
Oh, they've already started. We've not seen it.
I mean, no, I'm just saying they've already done enough damage. We beg them. We don't want to see cars on the turf. And whilst they are doing all of that, they need to watch the grass. The grass has to be in good condition for next season.
Thank you very much.
So I just hope the NSA, even though they've taken good cash for this, they are also thinking about how to keep the grass in good shape.
Always.
Because typically in other places, you should have covered the grass and we'll be fine. You've left the grass exposed.
Voting. They shouldn't even go on the grass. What are they going to do on the grass? They shouldn't go.
You see people
Put a
with
barrier
all kinds of
across
cars on the grass.
and
You will
nobody enters there.
you will be shocked.
Me, I have a
Other
problem.
grounds, Brekum, a few years ago, there was another political event there. The
My-
grass has never recovered.
My
So I just
issue
hope
is-
that, I'm serious, because the Accra Sports Stadium will be very key.
We'll be
the
asking
coming season,
Frank
It's key
Guahin.
because they promised us infrastructure. They've not brought it. The one we have to, they are going to do delegates conference over there.
Yeah.
Pour the grass.
Yeah.
Me,
The youth resource centers, they are, have they finished?
I mean what? Minister Denche in Anonifio. My problem is this. Keto Kreku has contributed to women's football under 70 or under 20. No more abandoned for 6 years. We need to come back on this program.
I actually promised to have a full show on that.
To be
on that
honest
incident.
with you, this is the first time we've been banned as a country. Very smart on the people at the FA. The
That-
moment
they threw-
then they
they-
brought
the
in
German boys.
the Salisu and the come on, whatever, no laka wona no more prosper.
I'm making
General Secretary.
I'm making a promise
I am
to the
telling
list.
you,
I'm making a promise to the
we'll
listeners
come
of the
back to
show.
this.
We'll definitely digest
And
that
some
issue on
of
the
us
show.
will expose the bad management at that level. You what?
Thank you for the
so
words
our
so sweet.
girls will not participate in any
Two qualifying campaigns.
6 years.
Yep.
The moment I buy
Some careers have gone down the drain.
Instead of you to be apologetic and come and apologize, Odro Safo and people are just going about. Now, me spill beans. No more. What is this? What people are these? We need to come back and visit
Hold the fire.
program
Put
again.
that fire in the refrigerator. I'll come back to it. So, guys, any quick shout outs before we go?
I want to give a shout out to Dr. Okain and Dr. Terry. It's Dr. Johnson of the Legon Small Animal Teaching Hospital. Look,
This guy.
my dog has not been feeling too well. They've been helping me out. I'm very thankful. And no, it's a tough job. But the dog can't talk. You bring the dog, they have to feel the dog.
The
do
dog
this.
can't talk.
The dog can't say my weight is paining me. It's hard. It's serious work. Oh. They have to
So you
stay-
mean they need to,
You
examine?
have to examine 6 years of work like the doctors that treat us. So it's not an easy job. So
Yeah,
let's shout out to
then
them and respect them.
Big shouts to the doc, man. No, just repeat that again. I'm not sure you were interrupting.
Small Animal Teaching Hospital at the University of Ghana, Legon. So Dr. Okain and Dr. Johnson
Hard.
and their team.
Mine is not a shout out. It's a disclaimer. Next season, when people are saying that you people said man you should finish top 2,
I say we finish top 2, top 4. We are in the Champions League zone.
because I beg you, I was not here today.
I want to give Mrs. Nimley,
Chale.
my wife. Oh, Chale! Susan Obribia. Awula, I'm coming home. Ole benin fi oni bi. Ba ashamo. In Atlanta now.
Ajo Tomo Ronaldo.
In na left and right.
Left foot, right foot, header. Oh, Chale.
Mrs. Nimley, I'm coming home, baby.
Goals now on here drink TVs.
You mean you are coming home, baby?
Don't that also.
A big shout out to my good friend Rahman Osman. Today's his birthday. Yeah, Charlie Rahman. Yeah. He actually promised to be here, but apparently, no, he says he'll be here next week.
Pounds fi oni Rama ba mi wo ba.
No, back.
No Rama.
Not too shabba.
Kebo anu kwa yenu mo kaya no shi mi.
Right now, he's chilling small. So happy birthday to Rahman Osman. And then my good friend Cindy Nadu Mensah. She used to be Cindy Nadu. I nearly said that you could like her husband cut my head. Cindy Nadu Mensah. Charlie, celebrate your birthday today.
Get that ring on their finger.
I know, man. I know. Respect that. Cindy, happy birthday to you out there.